Did you hear that?
Sophia Turner had always dreamed of a fairy tale life.
Stay calm, everyone.
She fell in love with Jacob Lawson, a charming man from a wealthy family. Their marriage seemed perfect, and everything about Jacob seemed too good to be true. His family, though a bit distant, welcomed her with open arms. But soon little things started to feel off. Jacob's mother, Linda, was always cold towards her, and his brother Dylan acted strangely when they were alone. Still, Sophia pushed her concerns aside, thinking she might just be imagining things. As time went on, Sophia began noticing more unsettling behavior. She overheard hushed conversations and found small clues pointing to something darker. One day, she stumbled upon a hidden room in their mansion, filled with old symbols and strange artifacts. She couldn't believe her eyes. The Lawson family wasn't just rich and powerful. They were part of a dangerous secret society involved in dark rituals. Sophia was in shock. She couldn't understand how Jacob could be a part of such a twisted world. When she confronted him, he acted as if nothing was wrong, denying everything and brushing her off. But then the truth hit hard. Jacob wasn't the man she thought he was. He admitted that he had only married her to gain access to her wealth and connections. He had never loved her. His family had been using her from the beginning as a pawn in their game for power. Sophia felt betrayed, lost, and completely alone. But the worst was yet to come. This wasn't just about a broken heart, it was about survival. Sophia needed to find a way to escape, to take back control of her life, and to make them all pay for the pain they had caused her. Sophia felt shattered and alone. The man she had trusted with her heart, Jacob, had betrayed her in the worst way possible. But as the pain sunk in, a spark of anger began to grow. She couldn't let this happen to her, not after everything she had given to him and his family. She began to dig deeper into the Lawson family's dark secrets, determined to uncover every lie. As she explored the mansion further, she found more evidence of the rituals they had been performing in secret. It wasn't just Jacob. It was his entire family who had been playing a game at her expense. Sophia realized the only way to survive was to fight back. She started quietly planning her revenge, using everything she had learned about the family against them. She carefully crafted a plan, one that would expose their twisted activities while turning their own power against them. She knew it wouldn't be easy, and she couldn't trust anyone in the family, but she was no longer the naive woman she once was. Every moment, every decision, would bring her closer to justice. Sophia began to gather allies, people who could help her bring down the Lawson family. She used her wealth and resources to her advantage, slowly moving her pieces on the chessboard. With each passing day, she grew more confident in her ability to get her revenge. She knew she had to strike when the time was right, and she was willing to do whatever it took. The feeling of betrayal had transformed her into someone unrecognizable, someone willing to take on the entire Lawson family and make them regret ever crossing her. As Sophia's plan began to take shape, she learned more about the family's weaknesses. Jacob's brother, Dylan, was also part of the family's dark secrets, but he had his own hidden agenda. Dylan wanted to take control of the family fortune and believed that Jacob was an obstacle. Sophia saw an opportunity in Dylan's ambition and decided to use it to her advantage. She approached him secretly, offering him a deal. She promised to help him take control of the family's wealth if he helped her destroy Jacob and Linda. Dylan was skeptical at first, but Sophia's resolve convinced him. She told him everything she knew about the family's rituals, and he realized that the truth of the matter was more dangerous than he had ever imagined. He was eager to take down Jacob, who had always been the family's favorite. Together, they began to weave their plans, gathering evidence of the family's dark dealings and setting up a trap that would expose them to the world. As Sophia and Dylan worked in the shadows, Jacob and Linda continued to manipulate the situation, unaware of the storm brewing around them. Sophia played her role carefully, making sure not to reveal her true intentions. Every conversation with Jacob was filled with lies, but she kept her emotions in check, knowing that one wrong move could ruin everything. The stakes were high, but Sophia was determined to make them pay for what they had done. She wasn't the naive woman who had married into their world. She was now a woman of power, ready to strike when the time was right. The time for revenge had finally come. Sophia, along with Dylan, carefully set the trap in motion. They had gathered enough evidence to expose the Lawson family's darkest secrets, secrets that would destroy their reputation and power. Sophia knew she had to act swiftly and decisively. The longer she waited, the more likely Jacob and Linda would find a way to stop her. She orchestrated a grand confrontation, inviting the entire Lawson family to a private dinner under the pretense of reconciliation. Jacob and Linda were still under the illusion that everything was fine, unaware of the storm Sophia was about to unleash. As the dinner unfolded, Sophia subtly began to reveal the evidence she had collected, showing Jacob's involvement in the dark rituals, Linda's manipulation, and Dylan's secret deal with her. The tension in the room was palpable as Jacob's calm demeanor began to crack. Linda, once so proud and untouchable, grew pale as the secrets spilled out. Dylan, who had once been a willing accomplice, now realized he had become part of a much bigger game than he had anticipated. The family's world began to unravel as the truth came to light. Sophia felt a strange satisfaction as she watched Jacob and Linda squirm. This was the moment she had been waiting for, but it wasn't enough to just expose them. She wanted them to feel the consequences of their actions. With the family's power shattered and their secrets exposed, Sophia made sure to take away everything they had worked so hard to control: wealth, influence, and their reputation. The revenge was complete, but Sophia had no intention of staying in the wreckage of their ruined lives. She walked away, knowing she had taken back the control they had stolen from her. She had avenged herself, but more than that, she had become stronger than she had ever been before. Now she was free to start a new life, one where no one could ever manipulate or betray her again. Sophia's victory over the Lawson family left her with a mixture of emotions. There was satisfaction, yes, but also a sense of emptiness. The revenge had been sweet, but it had come at a great cost. The woman she had once been, the hopeful, trusting bride, was gone. In her place was someone far more guarded, someone who no longer believed in the goodness of others. Despite the destruction she had caused, Sophia felt no regret. What she had done was necessary. The years of betrayal, manipulation, and lies had been too much to ignore. She had given everything to the family, and in return, they had used her as a pawn in their twisted game for power. But now they were nothing. Their empire was crumbling, their name tarnished. And Sophia, for the first time, was free. With the Lawson family in ruins, Sophia made a conscious decision to leave the life she had once dreamed of. She didn't want to be tied to the past anymore. She moved far away from the mansion, from the city, and started over. In a small town where no one knew her name, she found peace. The pain of betrayal still lingered, but it was no longer the force that drove her. Sophia focused on rebuilding her life, one step at a time. She found new purpose in helping others who had been manipulated and betrayed, using her story to empower those who had suffered as she had. The woman she had become wasn't just about revenge. It was about strength, resilience, and moving forward despite everything that had happened. Sophia never looked back. She had walked through fire, and in the end, she emerged not just as a survivor, but as a victor. The Lawson family's reign had ended, and she had claimed her own freedom. Sophia's life slowly settled into a new rhythm. She embraced her newfound peace with a sense of pride, knowing that she had taken control of her destiny. The scars of her past would always be with her, but they no longer defined her. She had learned the hard way that sometimes, to protect yourself, you had to make difficult choices. Revenge had been a necessary part of her healing, but it wasn't the end of her journey. With time, Sophia began to heal. She no longer felt the weight of betrayal constantly pressing on her chest. The anger that had driven her for so long had faded, replaced by clarity and strength. She had reclaimed her life and her power, and now she was focused on creating something positive out of her experience. The hurt she had endured had given her the strength to help others in similar situations, people who were trapped by their own circumstances and needed someone to show them that they, too, could break free. Her story became a symbol of hope for those who felt helpless and lost. Sophia used her voice to raise awareness about manipulation, power dynamics, and the importance of standing up for yourself. She worked with organizations that supported victims of abuse and helped others find their own paths to freedom. As years passed, Sophia grew into a woman who had not only survived but thrived. Her life wasn't perfect, but it was hers. She was no longer the woman who had walked into the Lawson family's world with open arms. She was someone who had fought back and won. And that victory, in the end, was more powerful than any revenge could ever be. Sophia's journey continued to unfold in unexpected ways. While her past would always be a part of her, she no longer let it dictate her future. She had learned the painful lessons of betrayal, manipulation, and the price of trust. But instead of letting those experiences break her, She had allowed them to shape her into someone stronger and more self-aware. Over time, Sophia became an advocate for others. She used her story to inspire and empower those who felt trapped by their circumstances, reminding them that there was always a way out, even when it felt impossible. She had found freedom through her own fight, and now she dedicated herself to helping others find the courage to break free from their own chains. Her work took her to places she never imagined, speaking at conferences, participating in support groups, and helping victims of abuse reclaim their lives. She became a symbol of resilience, a living testament to the power of standing up for oneself in the face of overwhelming odds. The pain of her past no longer controlled her. Instead, she transformed that pain into a force for good. In her personal life, Sophia found peace and love again, though not in the way she had once imagined. She didn't need a perfect partner to complete her. She had learned that she was enough on her own. But when she met someone who truly understood her, someone who accepted her scars and loved her for who she was, she opened her heart again. This time it was different. She was no longer seeking validation or a sense of belonging. She had already found that within herself. Sophia's life was now filled with purpose, peace, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing that she had conquered her past. The woman who had once been a victim of betrayal and darkness had emerged as a force of light and hope, a woman who had fought for her freedom and won. And with that victory, she had found the strength to help others find their own paths to freedom, too. As the years went on, Sophia's influence grew. She wasn't just a survivor, she was a guide for others. Her past, filled with pain and betrayal, had been the foundation of her new purpose. Every person she helped, every story she shared, brought her a sense of fulfillment she had never experienced before. She realized that the darkness she had lived through had equipped her with the tools to illuminate the path for others. Her work expanded into various initiatives, from mentoring programs to writing a book about her experience. Her words resonated with those who had suffered in silence, and her story became a lifeline for many. She shared how she had turned the deepest hurt into something meaningful, teaching others that their pain didn't have to define them. The book she wrote, titled The Power of Rebirth, became a bestseller, spreading her message to even more people who needed to hear it. Sophia's life now felt full in ways it never had before. She traveled, spoke to large audiences, and met people from all walks of life, each one moved by her strength and determination. Despite her success, she remained humble, always focused on the impact she could have on others. She never forgot where she came from, or the battles she had fought to get here. In her personal life, she continued to nurture relationships with those who truly mattered. The love she found wasn't about saving someone or being saved. It was about two people supporting each other's growth. With her partner by her side, someone who had earned her trust, she found peace in ways she hadn't expected. Together, they built a life founded on mutual respect, love, and shared dreams. Sophia's journey had come full circle. The young woman who once walked into a family of snakes, blind to the dangers lurking within, had become a woman who had reclaimed her power, helped others do the same, and found peace and love along the way. Her past had not broken her. It had created the woman she had become, a woman stronger than she had ever imagined. Sophia's journey truly came to symbolize the power of resilience. From the depths of betrayal and manipulation, she had rebuilt herself into a woman whose life radiated strength, purpose, and clarity. With every step forward, she proved that no matter how dark the past, it was possible to reclaim your life, redefine your narrative, and use your experience to change the world around you. Her work continued to thrive, and she became a trusted voice in many communities, not just for those recovering from toxic relationships, but also for anyone seeking to reclaim their voice. Sophia worked tirelessly to help people recognize their worth, helping them rebuild their confidence after their own painful experiences. Through workshops, personal mentoring, and her written words, she offered others the tools they needed to break free from whatever held them back. Despite her busy schedule, Sophia took time to nurture the relationships that mattered most to her. Her partner, who had stood by her side, became her greatest support. Together, they created a foundation of trust and mutual care, building a life that reflected their shared values. They traveled the world, seeking new experiences, always learning from one another, always growing. Her life wasn't perfect, and she didn't expect it to be. But Sophia understood now that perfection wasn't the goal. Living authentically, with integrity and a sense of purpose, was what mattered most. And with that understanding, she found peace. a peace she never thought she would have when she was lost in the maze of betrayal and pain. Sophia's story had come full circle, from the broken woman at the mercy of those she trusted, to the empowered individual leading others toward healing. She had embraced her scars, not as reminders of her suffering, but as symbols of her strength. And as she looked ahead to the future, she knew that no matter what challenges might come, she had the power to face them with courage, grace, and a relentless belief in her ability to rise above. Sophia's transformation into a beacon of strength and hope continued to inspire countless individuals. Her life, once shattered by betrayal, had evolved into a testament to the healing power of resilience and self-discovery. As her influence grew, Sophia became not just a survivor, but a powerful advocate for personal freedom. She traveled far and wide, speaking at conferences and community events, offering guidance and wisdom to those who felt trapped in their own battles. She frequently reminded people that true healing didn't come from seeking revenge. It came from reclaiming one's own power and making peace with the past. Her own journey had shown that revenge could offer momentary satisfaction, but it was forgiveness and self-empowerment that brought lasting peace. Sophia's personal growth had not only healed her, but had also fostered deep connections with others. She found herself surrounded by a close-knit circle of friends, mentors, and loved ones who celebrated her for who she was, not for her past mistakes or struggles. Together, they shared moments of joy, strength, and laughter, reinforcing that a supportive community was essential for thriving after trauma. She had also learned to embrace the quiet moments, those peaceful times spent at home, reading a book, reflecting on her journey, or simply enjoying the presence of her partner. Her relationship, built on mutual trust and understanding, was a steady source of comfort and strength. As time went on, Sophia looked back at the life she had built with pride. She had faced the worst of what life had thrown at her, and instead of breaking, she had rebuilt herself into someone who not only survived, but thrived. Her story became a beacon of hope for anyone who felt they were too broken to heal, reminding them that no matter the darkness, there was always a way forward, always a path to freedom. Sophia's life had come full circle, and in the end, it was not about the revenge she had taken, but about the peace, strength, and joy she had found within herself. Sophia's story reached a point where she realized that her true purpose was not just about surviving her past, but about using her experiences to help others create their own paths to healing. She had once been lost in a world of lies and manipulation, but now she was a living example of what it meant to rise above, to turn pain into power. Her work continued to expand, and her impact grew. She had built a successful foundation dedicated to helping individuals recover from toxic relationships, abuse, and manipulation. Through the programs she created, thousands of people found their voices again, rebuilt their self-worth, and found the courage to live lives free of fear and shame. Her workshops and seminars were filled with people eager to transform their lives, inspired by her journey and her authenticity. Sophia also began to mentor a new generation of leaders, teaching them the importance of resilience, compassion, and standing firm in the face of adversity. She emphasized that healing was a lifelong process, and that true strength came from embracing both the light and the dark within. She was no longer just telling her story. She was shaping the stories of others, guiding them to become the best versions of themselves. While her work was fulfilling, Sophia also learned to enjoy the simple moments in life. She took time to travel, to experience the world with open eyes and an open heart. Her partner remained a pillar of strength beside her, supporting her dreams, while she also made time for self-care and reflection. They spent quiet evenings together, cherishing the peace they had found after the storms of the past. Sophia knew that her journey was far from over. There would always be more challenges to face, but she was ready for them. Her past no longer had a hold on her. It had shaped her into the woman she had become, and she was proud of who she was. Her life was a true reflection of what it meant to transform, to rise from the ashes, and to find peace and purpose even after the deepest betrayal. She had faced darkness and emerged into the light, and she would continue to shine as a beacon of hope for others who needed to see that healing was possible.